Hey, what's up SEO pros? Big news! I recently discovered SEO Nitro and let me tell you, it's a game changer. In just days, I saw incredible results that blew my mind. With SEO Nitro, you can get links from thousands of different C-block IPs, the most powerful links at a fraction of the cost. Patent software lets you control your entire backlink profile in minutes. Add, remove, and change links at any time. Protect your site from Google's changes with SEO Nitro's revolutionary backlinking software. Imagine having the power to have laser-targeted themed backlinks, automated link spinning, set it and forget it. Thousands of stellar sites and manual and automated posting options. SEO Nitro is the ultimate SEO weapon. Head on to SEONitro.com now to revolutionize your SEO game. Don't miss out on page one. It's just click away. Hey, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to the first episode of 2024. Today we have Chad Lawson. We'll be talking about some mind-blowing AI SEO tricks. We'll talk detail on how to structure your prompts to get some great output. Don't be shy, guys. Let me know where you're watching from. Say hi in the live chat. Stefan, my man. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy Friday. Freddie Dickerson. Hi, y'all. What's up, Freddie? How was everyone's New Year's? Let me know in the live chat. Kobe says, hi, Chad and Dre. Hello, Kobe. Carol Fry, yo, yo. If you're just tuning in, we have Chad Lawson in the back. We'll be talking about some mind-blowing AI SEO tricks. We're talking detail how to structure your prompts to get some great outputs. And if you guys haven't checked out the SEO in 2024 book, I have a few copies here to give away. So put I love SEO in the live chat and let me know you want one. If you're in the US, I can mail it out in the US. So if you want a copy, put I love SEO or I want a copy of that book, SEO in 2024, and I will shoot me an email at dre@seo.video. dre@seo.video. So Chad is part of the speaker lineup at SEO Spring Training. For y'all, if you want to check out SEO Spring Training, go to seospringtraining.com. It's out in April. It's a great conference. I will be out there doing some media coverage. Adrian, my man. Hey, hey, hey. Happy Friday. I love SEO. What's up, my man? Nico, what's up? Hi, and Happy New Year, everyone. Let's see here. We got Chad there in the back. Hey, what's up, Chad? How are you doing? We got 5 more minutes to go.
All right. Looking forward to it.
All right. So Chad's just there chilling in the back. You guys let me know where you're watching from. That'll be awesome. Let me know how your New Year went. So Chad, do you know what your topic will be at SEO Spring Training?
No, not determinate. I mean, not 100%, but he's got me in the technical room, which means I'm going to be covering something a little more on the techie side of things. But considering I've been doing a lot of video generation and generative AI images and video, it's probably going to be along those lines.
Nice.
As you know, this is a very fast-changing landscape, so 3 or 4 months from now, a lot of things could happen, you know?
Yep. Jeremy says, what's up, Dre? If you're just tuning in, we got Chad Lawson right next to me right here. We're going to be talking about some mind-blowing AI SEO tricks. What we can do today to produce some quality output. Jeremy says, is the Majestic doing an SEO in 2024 book? Yeah, it's already out, brother. I'll send you a copy. Let me shoot me your email address. Shoot me your mailing address. dre@seo.video. dre@seo.video. Shoot me your mailing address. Hopefully you're in the US. Because this book is pretty heavy here. It's going to cost probably more than a book to ship it overseas. All right. So, Chad, have you been speaking at SEO Spring Training every year? I mean, this is going to be my first year going.
Last year I spoke. And then the year before. Yeah, no, I've spoken at a couple of them now. Yeah, one of them was a virtual one due to COVID. And then there was a couple of live ones. Are you going to be speaking this year, Paul?
Oh, no. I'm just going to be covering the event. Media coverage. Like I did, like when I did for Chris and Craig out in Las Vegas.
Oh, right. Okay.
Hi, Chad. What's up, Dre from Maddox? Yeah, I do this whole SEO SEO on the street. Like I go to events and try to just kind of like do some like event coverage, kind of interview a few people.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I started doing that when the conferences started becoming live again. So that was really cool. Oh, Andrew Ansley says Chad is still going strong with that handlebar.
There's the man right there.
Which handlebar is he talking about?
The Content Sprout.
Shout out to Content Sprouts AI. Oh, the handlebar right there. That's what he's talking about. Oh, man. All right, guys. We got about 2.5 more minutes to go. We're just having fun here in the back, getting ready for the show, letting you guys kind of trickle in. Thank you so much for coming in on this first episode of the year. If you guys haven't heard of SEO Nitro, SEO Nitro is a patent backlinking software that it's kind of like a network where you can control your backlinks. Very interesting stuff, guys. SEONitro.com. Be sure to check them out. They're one of our sponsors. Victor says hello from Austin, Texas.
Keeping it weird.
Oh yeah. Any new projects coming up for 2024? Any new softwares or anything like that?
Yes, I do. Something I've been working on for quite a while. Ooh. I'm excited about it. We can cover that a little bit if you want.
Nice.
Now or later.
We'll do later. We got a minute more to go.
Cool.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you on mute real quick, and then about 8 minutes after the hour is when I'm gonna introduce you into the show.
Okay.
All right. Actually, we're 2 minutes early. I think my timer was off by a minute. I don't know what. Let's see here. If you're just tuning in, we have Chad Lawson in the back. We got about 30 more seconds to go, guys. Get your water ready, drinks ready. Oh.
Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera, steady dropping knowledge. Over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO Video Show.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show, where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre De Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released in the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guest, and my guest this week is the founder of Chad Connects, Chad Lawson. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Victor, Maddox, Andrew, Jeremy, Adrian, Carol, Nico, Kobe, Stefan, Freddie. What's up, everyone? Become a supporter of the channel by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. Now let's get on with the show.
Hey Dre, what kind of fruit do SEOs like best? Low-hanging fruit.
Google was quiet with updates toward the end of the year. They just released a video and podcast on 2023 roundup of different updates, so be sure to check that out on the Google Search Central channel. How to analyze ranking drops by Aleyda Solis. Let's check this one out.
I really like to compare year over year to identify if the drop is an actual position drop, not just because of seasonality. And I also like to filter as much as possible per country, per device, per page type too, to identify the patterns as much as possible. And then like this, I can go and compare not only the clicks, but also the average position, the click-through rates, and instead of impressions, we can use the volume overlay with keywords everywhere. So we can do something like this. Okay, for the queries that have dropping clicks, have this actually drop in positions at all or not, or have just dropped in click-through rate, despite not dropping at all in position, because maybe there is a user feature that could be taking the clicks from you, for example. So these are very meaningful comparison, not only with queries, but also with pages types.
If you're just starting out in SEO, Aleyda's site, learningseo.io, is the most organized and accessible way to learn it. Be sure to check it out, and also her episode on the SEO Video Show, How to Recover with a Content Penalty by SEO Truths. Let's check this one out.
Right, people searching for your brand, so note like building an actual keyword volume of your brand, that's going to send more positive EEAT signals than not. Okay, digital PR, brand building, that's what you want to do for EEAT. Okay, so if you don't know what that means, just Google digital PR. Just look at some brands, Google some brands, and analyze that. But number 2, unpublished content that Google has deranked. So if you don't have to delete it, just unpublish it in WordPress. If it's deranked it, there's no traffic going to it, then like there's really no purpose of keeping it. It's just hurting you. And then unpublished content that doesn't align to your category of content. So just do some pruning. That's what it's called. It's called content pruning. All of the professional SEOs know that eventually you're going to have to do this. Number 4, publish new, helpful, and better quality content that ranks for smaller volume keywords. So
check out the full video by SEO Truths for a detailed step-by-step process. If you need help with digital PR campaign, be sure to check out magicpr.com. Spencer Haws approaches to niche selection for SEO. Let's check this one out.
One is I do think that you need to have some sort of interest in that particular niche. There are lots of niches that you might consider low competition. And that's sort of my second thing is I would look for a niche where either newer sites or lower competition keywords are plentiful, right? So if you can find a niche where somebody has a site that's only a year old and they're already doing well in that space, that's potentially a low competition niche, right? So that is one thing that I would look for. But even if you check that box, you need to have some sort of passion or interest because you're going to be in this space for a long time, multiple years. And so just being interested is a big part of that. And then the third thing that I tell people to look at is, can you actually make money in this space, right? Can you monetize it? Are there good affiliate offers? Could you create your own product, right? That might be a nice, big check mark if eventually down the road you create your own product. Just looking at other competitors and are they actually making enough money that it interests you? And everybody has a different level, right? That might be only $500 a month if you can get your site making $500 a month. For other people, that might be millions of dollars. I don't know, right? And anywhere in between, right? And so find a niche that is making enough money to satisfy your goal level.
Creating a niche affiliate site is one of my goals for 2024. So I'll be creating a playlist and documenting my whole process. So be sure to hit that notification bell and be notified when I start the series. Authenticity, the new local SEO currency in 2024 by Ranking Academy. Let's check this one out.
Number 1, ask your customers for honest reviews. Answer both the good and bad ones. It shows you're listening. Number 2, share your actual work stories. Talk about the real work you've done for people around town using videos to show what you're all about. Number 3, engage with your local community. Join local events, support community stuff, and share these moments online. Number 4, keep your info accurate everywhere. Make sure your business details are the same across all online places. Messy info can make you look bad. Follow or subscribe for more.
My favorite form of being authentic is video. With AI everywhere, Google loves content coming from real people. Our guest today will be sharing ideas on how to make AI content more authentic, which brings me to my favorite part of the show. Please ask questions on the topic and I will address them in the order that they are received. Before we get started, here's a word from our sponsor. Ever wondered how to get your brand noticed? I found the answer with Magic PR. Thanks to Magic PR, my brand now reaches over 300 plus premium news and media outlets. I've seen my news on AP, Bloomberg, Yahoo News, and many more. And it's not just about visibility. With Magic PR's unique SEO process, I've noticed incredible boost in traffic to my site and improved local and organic rankings. From crafting the perfect press release to building a powerful SEO campaign, Magic PR is always there for me. Want to experience the magic of PR? Try Magic PR just like I did. Watch your business reach new heights. Chad has over 2 decades of navigating the ever-changing tides of SEO. He's a master of Python and SEO conference speaker. He's crafted software that transforms tedious SEO tasks into seamless processes. From data scraping to link building, his creations brought a new era of efficiency and effectiveness to SEO landscape. Please welcome a maestro in the grand symphony of SEO, Chad Lawson. Chad, my man, welcome to the show.
That is quite an intro. I don't know if I can live up to that.
Oh,
I don't
man.
have a WWF belt.
Oh, I'll get you one. I'll get you one. All right, guys. Everyone, let's give a round of applause. All right, Chad, I'm going to get right into it. This is the first question I ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. In 1 minute or less, how does Chad get ranking on page 1 of Google?
Pick a low competition keyword.
Oh, yeah, there you go. In just 1 second, he answers the question. Love it.
That might be cheating.
No, love that, love that. Hold on. Let's rewind this quick. Let's rewind this. Chad, take us way back 2 decades ago. How'd you first get into SEO?
Ooh. It was 98, and I taught myself web development. Mm-hmm. And I was just getting clients, and building them sites. And then their next natural question is like, how do we get traffic? What do we do? How can we rank? Mm-hmm. And I guess that was the start. Just trying to answer that question is probably where I started. Back then, it was much easier. The good old days. Google wasn't even the #1 search engine, so it wasn't, you didn't really have to focus all your effort there, which was helpful in some ways and tricky in others. But it was just a natural progression of web development to, what are we going to do with this website? How can it do stuff for us now?
Love that. So, I mean, why just SEO? I mean, why not like paid search? What made you so interested into SEO instead of like other forms of like driving traffic?
I eventually got into paid advertising and went down that rabbit hole for many years. And so it wasn't just an SEO, getting traffic love affair. That's just where it started. And it was probably, just the clients asking, how do we get ranked? I mean, it probably wasn't any big decision that I made consciously. It was just practical.
I love that. Okay, so let us know, how'd you learn it? I mean, I know it was a lot easier back then, but I mean, there had to have been some resources and ways that you've actually learned it.
Hey Terry. There was a big club, a big launch, not too long after that. I can't remember the exact year, but it was something called StomperNet. I don't know if you've heard of StomperNet.
Yeah, that does sound familiar. It does sound familiar. Tell me more. Refresh my memory. I did know that.
it was a cool little origin story. So there was this back in the day, Yahoo had this e-commerce platform called Yahoo Stores, and it was, you know, just kind of the Shopify of the day back then. It was clunky as, I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on the show, but it was really pretty crappy. But there was a guy who bought the course, went through it, and then he was just ranking, and he was just having great success. And so he called the guy who wrote it. His name was Brad, and he said, hey man, we should just do this course. And so what they did is they just got all the best faculty, you know, just all the people who were really good in their fields in different slices of SEO, and they put them together as the instructor roster, and they had some sort of a, I don't know, sort of a university, kind of like an SEO university. And so it was really helpful to be able to see a lot of different people approach SEO and have success with what they were doing. And everyone, it was very new. I'm not sure there's been any, you know, SEO courses back then. So it was really sort of fun, novel, cutting edge for then, you know, but it laid a good foundation for me to start, you know, getting rankings and taking experimentations into my own hands.
Love that. Brad does the name does sound a lot familiar. Once you learned it, like, take us through your journey to present, like, because I know you create software. I know you've helped other SEOs build out software as well, and you build your own softwares. For those that are not familiar with the software you built, please take us through that journey.
Okay. So it really just became, it's kind of a good Venn diagram between need and being lazy. And so what I call it is strategically lazy. And so what I was doing at that point in my life is, you know, they tell you to go out and be the expert in that niche. I mean, actually that advice is still out there today, but I kind of took that to heart, and I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on dance studios. I was a dancer back then, and I loved it, and I was dancing all the time, and I just wanted to do something that was personally interesting to me. And so I went to a conference and, you know, gave a talk and set up a booth and all that. And I just had like a ton of customers. And the problem was fulfilling, you know, like when you go to a conference and you have success, then you just have like 50 or 60 websites to do all of a sudden, instead of spreading them out over the year, which is, you know, reasonable and handleable. So we had to start sort of building some sort of systems. So we ended up building a multi-site system. This was before WordPress was even around. We were using a different CMS back then, but we had to sort of build a way, like I needed a way to like click and just have a whole website set up with graphics and everything. And then I could just float in the logo and some of their images and whatever. And it was just sort of a need-based thing. And I think probably that was the start of, you know, necessity is the mother of all invention, right? And so once you kind of have that idea, like, okay, when I find something that works, the concept is, how do I do this over and over and over while, you know, not doing it over and over and over, like manually. And so it's a simple concept, but it allows for endless creativity, you know? So over the years, whatever needed to be solved en masse, I'd love to tackle those type of problems.
Love that.
So this little,
Yeah.
like this little Tinkerbell thing, is Tinkerbell on your side of the camera and I can't see her? Like what's
Oh
the
no,
deal
no!
there?
It's on the whole production. It's to let people know. It's a cue, like, hey, pay attention.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
So
a
I
visual
better say something really important right then?
No. It's to remind them that you just said something. So if anyone rewinds back,
Oh,
they can
gotcha.
check it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I don't have to think about it. Okay.
I want to go into the softwares that you've built for an SEO. Like, what are some softwares that you built, like in the SEO field, that your people may be familiar with?
Well, probably the first public thing I did was a program called CTR Rocket. And that was one of the first CTRs, if not the first. I'm not really sure. It wasn't really important to me about being first. It's just I had learned a technique from Holly about ranking YouTube videos
and
and just putting them on the first page within 3 days. And it was all using like micro workers and Amazon MTurk, and I was like, this is great, but I want to scale. And so that's just going to be a big bill. And so why don't I just build a program that just does that,
Got it.
So I worked on that. We launched that, and that went over pretty well. And then things changed and COVID started happening, and I just shuttered that, and a couple more things have come up, since then to fill that gap. I think CTR can be really powerful. Yep. I've built things, a lot of things that aren't really, well, I can't really say that. I built a My Maps maker. There was a technique where you could put My Maps in Google, and you could put, you can make little maps. You could drop little markers and pins, get driving directions between those things. You could put in images, you could put in titles, you could put in full articles, you could put in YouTube videos. Like, it was a really rich Google property. And, depending on how long you've been around with Google, there's always patterns. Like, there's something that's released. SEOs just wear the hell out of it. Google shuts it down. And then SEOs move on to something else. And then quietly in the background, Google puts the thing back, but they don't tell anyone. And it doesn't, by then it's passe. Like, the new thing is not the old thing. So SEOs don't pay attention to, so things still work. So My Maps was one of those tools. It was just, it was an effective solution, but it was very tedious to do. So I built a tool just to kind of do that. So it works really well for local businesses back then, because you could just take all your competitors and get driving directs from them to your business, and all the local points of information. Local POI is a tool that I have now, actually, still, but I built it years ago. But it just, when you go to Google and you're doing like a local campaign and you type in that city, Google has this things called things to do. And these are points of interest that Google thinks are important. And so what we do is we scrape those and we order those and we augment them with Wikipedia. And then so you can go in there, and so if you're running like a service page and you want to put, POI at, near the bottom of your page or whatever, just to get local signals and whatever, you could just click and then go into your WordPress or your CMS and just paste it there. So you can very easily just grab, local PIs for those sort of signals. The most recent one, which I haven't launched, which I plan to launch, later this month, is a tool called Link Cushion. And it was also built out of a need where, if you've been around a while, there was, you've probably ordered rings and IFTT networks, and you have, any number of, Weebly's, Tumblrs, Google sites, just a lot of Web2s out there in your hard drive, and Excel files with usernames and passwords, which you never log in and post to. Am I right? Do you have?
You buy it after you buy it, and then you get a bunch of it. You get a spreadsheet of all of it, and you never log back in.
Right, and you never log back in. Right, so they're not doing you any good. And whatever they costed you on Fiverr or Web2 Rank or wherever you bought them, like, they're just not doing any good. So I wanted a way to have like a central dashboard to manage all those things, because they are valuable if you publish regularly and on topic. And so they can grow into powerful things. So I built that tool, and then that led into content generation. So we tied into the OpenAI API, so we can get article generation. We've tied into Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, and so you can generate images. And then we've recently added clouds, which are kind of the, how I said there was always like a trend, like the soup du jour. Well, that's clouds right now. It used to be My Maps. Now, like, clouds is the thing. And it was CTR for a while there and whatever. So it's all just kind of under one roof now. So it used to be called Web2 Manager, like, internally, but we call it Link Cushion, so that, the basic idea is these type of link schemes are, I just call them like generating links. If a page doesn't have links, and you have a lot of pages that don't have links, it looks a little suspicious. So if you can just go out and get some of these links, they're going to do you good. But it's not going to, you're not going to be on the first, page of Google for, celebrity cruises or something ridiculous. But they are helpful, and they are powerful when they're linked together correctly. And that's what I find. So I just wanted a way to manage that stuff easily.
Love that. So when will that software be out?
You can, the name of the company is Snappy SEO Tools. If you go there now, you'll see Link Cushion. I just put up a username or a sign up for get notified sort of thing. I could probably launch it now. Like, I've had beta testers in there for, I don't know, a year.
Nice.
And so, but we're just always adding things. And so I feel like I'm always nervous to launch, but there's a lot of advice that, if you're not embarrassed by your first 1.0 product, then you didn't launch in time.
No, I feel there's definitely need for that, because we mentioned like the accounts. I have tons of accounts of different profiles, and I just
totally
sit on them. I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them may be alive, some of them may not, but yeah, that's a great way to manage them. I mean, and post like relevant content, and which brings us to our topic of today, AI content generation, which is our topic today. And just to kind of start things off, in your opinion, like AI content creation tools like ChatGPT, how do you think it has transformed the whole SEO landscape?
Well, it's certainly spammed up the SERPs.
Yeah.
To start off with a negative. But it's also, it's done a lot for SEO, but it's done a lot, outside of the realms of SEO. Like, it's a great tool for, it's a great tool for certain things, and it's terrible at other things, right? So it's great for brainstorming. It's great for, idea generation. It's great for just rearranging, trying different titles, subheads, structures. It's great at classifying things, summarizing things. Like, all these things are SEO tasks, so it's really good at that type of stuff. And, beyond that, I think people have used it for, I know people have used it for therapeutic reasons, sometimes just being able to talk to somebody who's not a therapist and won't judge you quietly, you know what I mean? It's so, like, that improves people's lives. And I don't know. I mean, it's a wide open thing. We're right at the cutting edge here, and it's going to start to be clamped down over the years. We're starting to see some of that right now. But there'll be holes in the market that other companies come in to fill. And it's exciting that, the openness of it is so helpful. You can find a little niche, just a little slice in there, and really rock it,
Love that. And cool. Jeremy says, please launch Link Cushion ASAP. Sincerely, all SEOs. There you go, Chad. You're getting more. I mean,
Thanks,
I really think that's a great tool. I mean, I could definitely use it, like, starting today. I could just get all my spreadsheets and upload it today.
The other thing I didn't mention is it'll publish to WordPress too. That's kind of like the main thing. So if you want to build like a PBN type of a thing, or owned media, what it's called now, or whatever, like, it's helpful.
Love it. So you talk about structuring a prompt, right? Structuring a prompt when structuring a prompt to generate an SEO blog to post ideas. I mean, what key elements should be included versus avoided?
Well, I think the biggest thing that would help anyone right now is just realizing that, giving them a sentence or giving them a paragraph, or, ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you're doing, and then getting an article, that's simple. And it's the novelty, hopefully should be wearing off between that, because, like, everyone can do that, and everyone can flood a WordPress blog with that type of content. And so, generally speaking, in SEO, like, whatever somebody's doing really good, if they're number one, if you do the same thing and a little bit better, it's not always a one-to-one equation, of course, but generally speaking, the principle is just do better than your competitors, and you'll get ranked. So if that's what everyone else is doing, you should do something better, And so I think the way to do that is to build articles from a series of prompts, building subsections, sections, and then just sticking it all together into one, I'm going to call it a super article just for hype reasons, but you know what I mean? It's I don't think there's, like, a particular prompting technique like that is going to, like, change your game or whatever, but I think it's the wielding the tool in a conscious and smart way that's going to make the difference. It does take a little more work, instead of just typing one thing and then just getting an article, like, but if Google can
Love it,
Yeah.
love it. Brian says Link Cushion is sick. I mean, he has access
Yeah,
to
he's
it.
one of the beta testers.
Let me become a beta tester here. All right. So, I mean, okay, let's kind of take what you said and put it like in an example. I mean, you said become better than that person, like on a series of prompts. Do a series and make a super article. I mean, let's use like the topic of like meditation, benefits of meditation. How would you like create prompts for like something benefits of meditation?
Okay, well, I'm a big fan of, Taps and Corey's approach to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so, I think building a topical map, figuring out what this website is going to be about, how you're going to cover everything, and where are the priorities. Not everything under the topic of meditation is equally important. It's more about once you've got your roadmap and your topical map, then building content briefs for each of those types of pages.
Okay.
So in that niche, I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head here, but there's going to be a lot of articles, right? And then there's going to be maybe some e-commerce stuff, and that could be like stuff you sell on your product and on your site, or affiliate type stuff. And I'm not sure. Maybe if you're teaching a class or something, there's like 3 different types of content types, and so those pages might be constructed, from a series of prompts. So on an informational type page, you'd have your heading and your subheads, and so you might go to the search engine results page and look at the top 10 competitors and look at their structures, and then find your own. You might look at their entities and compare, content gaps and entity gaps and whatnot. Depending on how involved you want to do these things can all be prompts, and then you might, so if your article, let's just say, is like 10 subheads under a head, like an H tag 1, and then your 10 below it, and then each thing covers a different aspect of the main heading. So each of those things could, go out and spider and find out what's available, and then do some data processing on that, and then generate a paragraph, and then you would feed that back into, you'd feed paragraph back into to the OpenAI API or the Claude, API or whatever you're using. And then, so that way it has context, and then it generates the second part of the article, the second section of the article, and the second to go to the third.
It.
So that way you have some continuity of thought and some reading, and then you can, have prompts that go and say, is the grammar right? Or is this in first person or third person? Or like, do any of these things lend themselves to, graphics of some sort? And what does that look like? And then you could go out and generate, graphics with Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, DALL-E now, that type of thing. So like, you can see how a single article might be, 30 to 50 prompts, on a really well-researched article and whatnot. So I think, like I said, in the concept of like, just do better than like one sentence and then get an article, like that's how I would think about those type of things.
Excellent.
If you Andrew asked a question in the chat. He goes, if you manually do AI prompting the right way, how much of a time commitment is that to generate an article?
It's a tricky question, so I'm just going to answer with a range. So given all the things that I gave you, it depends on how in depth you want to do that. But if you're doing it manually, like through ChatGPT Plus or something, 20 to 30 minutes, which is pretty good for a very comprehensive article, with error checking and stats and citations and images, possibly even video. You know what I mean? I think that's reasonable. I'd love to hear Andrew's feedback on that.
There you go. 20 to 30 minutes about, guys. I mean, that's like, you're looking at like articles used to take hours with the research. I mean, even days. I mean, I would have like writers like take like a few days just to do the research and kind of write things out. So like just at least 30 minutes, guys, at least 30 minutes. And so I want to go into more of the prompt structures. I want to like talk about like what works best for you to create like meta titles and descriptions, like that align with SEO best practices. Do you say like, hey, create a meta title with this keyword and do that? Like, what's your kind of prompt structure for, like, great meta titles and meta descriptions?
Yeah, well, depending on your content brief, that will kind of dictate that. But my opinion is that your title, the meta description really isn't used that much in SEO. I mean, it's obviously displayed in the SERP more often than not, but I don't know that it really influences rankings. There, we could argue about that, but it's kind of pointless. So I do think it's very helpful from a CTR perspective, and that if you put the same entities, the main entity in your keyword, in your title, in your H1, and your description, then it would be fine. So on a prompt structure there, I mean, I would feed it the H1 and the title of the article, which are probably very close and just semantically variations of each other, and just to make sure that it's going to give you a meta description that's, worth anything.
Love that. And I'm curious, in your opinion, when it comes to meta titles, do you try to keep it without the truncated, dot, or do you try to like fit that, you want a meta title fits perfectly within the search?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that ChatGPT isn't that good at. If you say, I want to keep it under, 50 words or 40 words, then it's pretty loquacious. Just in general, like, it's just one of those, it's a little bit fluffy. So I find using the word succinct is sort of a keyword that helps a lot when generating, like, give me a succinct prompt. And it can't really count that well. So you can't make sure that it runs, under 40 characters or 40 words, sorry. But, typically if you get it under 40 and Google is displaying it, then you can get your whole thing without being truncated. But so that's an example where you might use other processing, like non-OpenAI stuff. Like, you might get something from OpenAI and then just use JavaScript or whatever to make sure that it's within the boundaries of, whatever you said, 40 words or less. And if not, reprompt until you get that, or edit, It's really a combo. That's the secret here.
Love that. So you kind of speak about OpenAI, and sometimes you mention Claude. I mean, what's your choice when it comes to an API or, like, AI that you use? Would it be the Claude, ChatGPT,
for
something
content,
else,
or are we talking images, video? Like, what do you?
Let's do content.
Okay. Just to, like, jump back. So Andrew says it takes him 60 to 80 minutes. Yeah, 50 involved. Yeah, if you're doing it by hand, and depending on how fast or how in depth you're doing, 30 would be really fast then, wouldn't it? According to what you're doing there, 60 to 80. Yeah. It just depends, like, I'm sure what he's doing in 60, 80 minutes is getting to a very quality standard, knowing what I know about Andrew. So I believe that. I might have just, to be honest with you, I kind of just pulled that 30 minutes out because I have it all programmed into, like, when you put in a keyword, it generates a whole, 10 subheads and researches and grammar checks. It does all that. So I don't really do it manually. So I'm not the right guy to answer, but I think it could take 30 minutes, but it could also take 60 to 80. I believe that too.
Love that.
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked, but I wanted to answer the questions. What was your question?
Claude. It was either Claude, ChatGPT for content generation. Like, what are you using and why?
Well, I use OpenAI a lot.
Okay.
They're the farthest ahead, and that's because they have a very deep pockets, and they've hired very, very good researchers and scientists. And they started, a long time ago. 3 years ago, I was working with ChatGPT 2.0, and it was weird. It was rough around the edges, but, like, you've seen from 3 to 3.5 to 4. They're just so far ahead. Now Claude's doing pretty good, but they've got problems with, I perceive them to have problems with, they're trying to make sure that it's, you can't do bad stuff with it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a little bit trigger happy.
Yeah.
Right now, we're trying to show,
there's some stuff. Like, even like things,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like when I would talk, like, hey, can you, like, when I talk about maybe about backlinks, they're like, oh, that's against Google's terms. Sorry, I cannot write that about you. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like it's weird. Like, I pull certain things, but yeah. So OpenAI, and so I'm curious, like, when it comes to, like, you talked about even with your software that, it's kind of like these satellite sites, these new type of PBNs. I'm curious, like, when people are using ChatGPT or OpenAI and searching for the same keyword, like how is is the content like still the same? I mean, would it be spit out the same content? I mean, would we have any duplication there? Have you seen that come up? Like, people like, I'm pretty sure we're all using the same prompts here or sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, given the number of people who are using it and the probability that someone would be using the same word as you, like, I think those are fairly high. As far as it giving the exact same content, I think it's within the realm of possibility, but probably not probability. When you're dealing with the API, you have temperature and top P, and those things can influence the randomness or the deterministicness of your output or the completions. And so in certain tools, my tools, you can adjust that yourself. You know? So, and if you're using the playground, you can see those things over there on the sidebar. And so you can play around with it. So like if you turn the temperature down to 0 and, once upon a time, it will just say, I don't know, there was a little girl who was very sad. And if you run that completion again, once upon a time, there's a little girl. So the deterministic is so high that there's no variation. And then when you turn it down, you might get a different answer for each one of those, and then top P is related to that too. So, and those two things interact with each other. So you can get, more narrow answers or wider variation. And then those two things can play off of each other to get something either wild or unique, or just depending on the eye of the beholder.
Love that. That kind of takes me to my next question here. Like, I mean, how can someone frame an AI prompt to create multiple unique variations of a blog post for better syndication?
Well, it doesn't, in ChatGPT, you don't have any setting adjustments that I'm aware with. So I think you would, in that case, ask it to take on different roles or different, try to give it a base perspective to go from, and then have it generate something, and then give it a different base and have it generate something there. So that's how I would do that with that type of a tool. There's archetypes. Peter Hafferty has a really good book on that. And then you can just act as a comedian, act as a thespian, act as if you want sarcasm, you could say act as Deadpool. And it's just weird tips and tricks. But then inside of the API, you can adjust those settings with, temperature and P and that type of thing.
Love that. We got another question here from Andrew. Do you offer a default AI output with your tool? If so, do you test the on-page score with a specific tool?
Yeah, we do offer a default. So in my tool, it basically does what I just described there. So you put in a keyword and it will generate some titles. You can pick a title, you can write your own, and then it will generate subheads, which you can write your own or edit them. And then it will generate each of those paragraphs, and it's feeding it back in to give it context and whatever. But the other thing that we're busy adding right now is sort of we have a prompt database. So like if you want to write your prompt, like anything that you would write into ChatGPT, for example, you could save it in a link cushion. And then when you are generating an article, you can just click that button and it will load that prompt and it will just run that to you. And then the next iteration, you'll be able to drag and drop your own prompts to build your own article. I was talking about multiple prompts sort of thing. So you could put in 5 or 10 prompts and then have that build your article in that particular way. As far as the on-page score, no, I don't. We're building sort of an on-page thing that's sort of, a surfer, writers, and just all these type these type of tools that do that type of thing. But I haven't ever taken one of those articles and stuffed it into one of those tools to get a score. So I don't know how to, I can't give you a good answer on that, Andrew.
Love that. So let's go on to AI technology. I mean, comparing it to what do you think it falls short compared to human creativity, and expertise when optimizing content for SEO?
Well, AI by definition is deterministic. So it's building completions based on what you've given it and what the prediction of those things are. So it's always rebuilding or recombining or a reverb part of, I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for there, but do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's one of those things that's, it doesn't come up with anything. It doesn't invent anything.
Yeah.
It's only taking a big data set and then like searching for a predictive answer based on what question you're asking and what information that it has. So in that way, humans will always win because, the artists and the creatives and they're building things from their brain. Which AI can't do. It can imitate those things after they're already built, but it can't do anything. But, so like with training, like maybe you saw recently that they found new, don't quote me on this, but they found, like a new cure for cancer or something. And it was because it was a pharmaceutical company that ran a big LLM data set and on different markers of genes or something. Again, don't take me too literally here, but like it was able to predict where they might find this particular molecule or how they could generate this particular structure. And then when they went and tested that, it was like a kind of a real thing. So it's right at the beginning of it, but it's a hopeful thing. So when you're training things on a very specific data set and you're looking for particular things, it can be really helpful because the humans may have not have gotten to that, or they may have gotten to it 4 years down the road, but we haven't now. So that concept you can apply to anything if you're willing and you have the deep pockets to build a data set and do all the training. It can be pretty cool.
Love that. Okay, enough about articles and content. I want to talk about images. I mean, that's another part of AI here. And you guys, we're coming close to the end of our conversation here. So if you have any questions, go ahead and sneak them in the live chat. But this is a question on images. Is like, when generating images with AI for blog posts, I mean, how specific does the prompt need to be in describing desired image attributes? Because I mean, I'll tell you this: when I actually started playing with the images, I didn't get nothing nearly nice to like what I see on like the thumbnails people are generating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, what would be your advice on like image, getting what you want?
Well, just out of curiosity, where were you trying to generate images? Was it DALL-E or
DALL-E.
Stable Diffusion or DALL-E? Okay, yeah. When was that? Was that 2 or 3? Version 2 or 3?
Oh, it was a while ago, so it might have been 2.
Okay,
is it
yeah.
better
2
now?
was hot garbage. Yeah, 3 is pretty good.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Midjourney.
Okay, Midjourney.
It was not nice for me to say hot garbage. It was just a product that was getting better, and that was the best that they had right then, and that was totally fine. You have to go through those to get to the good stuff. So the DALL-E 3 now is pretty good. I've been a big fan of Midjourney. Holly had a conference in Chicago, and I taught a whole class on that. I thought about making a quick course on that, but it is less forgiving than OpenAI or ChatGPT, and so the prompting does matter quite a bit, and even the difference between where you put your words in a sentence. You don't even have to use incomplete sentence. You can use incomplete sentences and still get pretty good output. Just briefly, there's additive prompts where you take a thing and then you keep adding to it. There's image prompts where you give it an image and you say, build me something off of this or something similar. And then there's conceptual. Those are the 3 categories that I have in my head on how to build these things. And then there's a lot of little tips and tricks, to get those sort of refinements to where you're going to need. But it's kind of like, when we're talking about like in ChatGPT, where you just type a sentence or two and then it gives you a whole article. Like it's not that forgiving. You can't just say, I need a picture of a roofer and have it do something. It will, but there's such a lack of instruction there that it doesn't, it's still just a machine. It really doesn't know what to do,
Could you like
Is that
kind of
helpful?
walk us through like maybe a sample prompt of let's say an AI prompt for Midjourney? Like, so to get what you want, to get exactly what you want. Tell us what the image is and then tell us how you would prompt it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I would say start with something simple. First, understand that it's an iterative process. So like if you think you're just going to get something the first time, like that's where you're going to be frustrated. Just think that maybe the sixth time I do something, I'm going to get something that I could really use. And as you get better and better at this, you can cut down on that. But, so if I just say a roofer working on a home roof, that tells it a couple things. It tells it it's a roofer, and then home is specifying that it's not, a commercial building. And so it's probably going to be a roof like this versus, corporate roofs, what might be flat or whatever. And then you might refine that by saying, a roofer working on a home sheet metal roof. And that's going to give you a different tile. We have asphalt tiles here where I live, but, in the mountains, a lot of people want sheet metal roofs because fires and forest fires and embers and doesn't burn through metal and whatever. So you can get a little bit more specific to get something that you want. And then you could say, roofer working on a home, sheet metal roof, wearing a ball cap and sunglasses, like a lot of construction workers do. Or you could say, sort of a tan. But if you put like sun worn, you're going to get something really weird, like some sort of, earth, wind, and fire looking picture. But if you put sun tanned, then you're going to get like a darker, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Skin tint. And so like, that's why I'm saying like the words actually really matter. You can specify the age of the roofer. Is this an old guy? Is this a young guy? Is this a teenager? This is, whatever. We're just kind of going in this example of roofers, but as you get more specific and then you change some of those word orders around, and then if you really want to get, really geeky, you can do different prompt weights. You can say this word actually means this particular percent of affecting, the result. That's a little more advanced, but, that type of additive prompt will get you pretty far. And then you could talk about camera angles. This is a wide shot, this is a close shot, this is a medium shot, this is a torso. You can talk about lenses. You can say I want a Canon 35
are you writing
millimeter.
all this out at once in like one huge prompt, or is this? Are you talking about like you kind of do it little by little?
No, yeah, this is all just one prompt. So you just take that same prompt and then you add words or you add things. So that's why I call it like an additive situation.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I think maybe I should make that course. Like I taught that class and it went over pretty well. I think it's really cool because it's trained on well-composed shots. So everything generally looks pretty good. I mean, there's ways to prompt it to make it look a little more homeschool, you know what I mean? Like not in a bad way, but just like less glamour glitzy. And there's all kinds of styles and I don't know. It's endlessly fun. It's the kind of thing that you can get good at when, I don't know like what your situation is, but like I have children and we might watch a movie on a weekend night and I might be bored because I've seen a Lego movie like 80,000 times, right? And so like it just runs on Discord. So I can sit there on my phone and just clickety click and just play, just try different things and get results and then try it again and pay attention to the movie or whatever. You know what I mean?
Love that. We're coming very, very close to time here. So if anyone has any questions, I'm going to ask my last question here in live for today. But we have Chair Power here says, I'm a fan of Copilot for research, Chat with GPT for outliners, and finding content gaps. Okay. So my last question for you today is if someone wants to get into the SEO industry, become an SEO professional themselves, what would your advice be to them?
Ooh. This is tough because I'm not sure that SEO is going to be around. And so coming into it now is totally different. I mean, there's always going to be the need for search. And I think semantic search has proved itself to be a really good way. But there's going to be a need for search with app stores and need for search in, I don't know. You got to understand, like we're as SEOs and using ChatGPT and stuff, we're sort of like, we're the bleeding edge. We're like the alpha crew. And when this makes it into like, everything's sort of a bell curve, right, on adoption, like we're just way down here in this part of the corner. So like when we get up here, we're like, your grandma's using ChatGPT. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's kind of a dour outlook, but I think search is going to change so drastically and it's fairly unpredictable to my eyes at this point, that I'm not sure, I don't know.
All good,
Sorry.
brother. All good, brother. So I want to go. So for this episode to feel complete for you, how can people get a hold of you? And where can they find Link Cushion? Because I want to make sure I get my hands on that too as well. So please, the stage is yours.
It's snappyseotools.com. Snappyseotools.com. And then it's a really basic website. I've been so busy on the tool, I haven't worked on the website, but possibly by the time, you get around to getting there, I'll have the new everything looks nice and pretty. But on the tools menu, you can find Link Cushion, and then there's an opt-in there. So I'll shoot you an email or maybe ask you to be a beta tester, just depending on whatnot. That's probably the best place to find me,
Love it. And guys, don't forget, Chad will be speaking at SEO Spring Training this coming year and in April. So be sure to check out SEOspringtraining.com to get your tickets to the conference in Arizona. If you can hold on for one quick second, Chad, while I sign off here, just hold on for one quick second. All right, guys, that concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Thank you so much for coming by, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And again, support our sponsors, SEOnitro.com and MagicPR.com. Until then, see you next week. Peace out.
Thank you for watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO Video Show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre De Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo!